Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Three Stooges official podcast. I am your host, the Meister of Mayhem, the conductor of chaos, Phil Landades. Alongside me, are the two
Poison.
the true talents, the 2/3 of the modern day Three Stooges, writer, director, actor Andy Pagana, and the grandson of Curly Howard himself, Brad Server. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Who came in? Hey, who walked in? Hi, Phil. Hiya, Phil. It's good to be back.
I love those shirts. I'm
Curly G shirt.
Yes.
Hey.
Beautiful
Yes.
Three Stooges shirt. But hey,
So,
clean it up. We got a guest today.
We do. Oh.
On today's show, we have a very special guest, Three Stooges comics writer, James Koric. James, welcome to the show.
Hiya, fellas.
Welcome, James. Hi, James.
Now, James, for our listeners and our viewers, James is the president at American Mythology Comics, a winner of the Spike TV Scream Award, which I definitely want to hear more about that. A writer on season 6 of The $6 Million Man, and he's written comics for the following: Stargate SG-1, Hatchet, Fright Night, Army of Darkness, and Freddy versus Jason versus Ash 1 and 2. Did I say that right, James? Did I get that correct?
You got it. Thank you very much.
All right, so that's quite a resume, and we will get into a little bit of that. But really, I don't see any reason why we should hold off anymore. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Yeah, let's go right in. Three Stooges comics, man. I've loved them ever since I was a little kid, and I always treasured trying to find, some of the old Dell comics from, with the Curly Joe covers, because the original, I think, Mo Laren Curly and the Mo Laren Shemp ones that Norman Maurer drew were like just way out of my collecting league as a kid.
And I used to look at the artwork back in the 80s and the 90s, and I was kind of at all of it. And I really didn't see the Three Stooges comics until I started going to the conventions. But I found myself really, instead of reading all the way through them, I found myself skimming through them and just looking at the pictures. I mean, the animation it's gorgeous.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought that was a very fancy way of telling us you can't read, but
he can't. I can't.
All right, good.
Yes.
So, all right. So we're still waiting on your sign off on the contract for all this, and that's why. So James, let me ask you a question. We start off most of our guest interviews with the question of how did you become, what's your Stooge fandom origin story? How did you become a fan of the Stooges?
Oh, wow. What's your origin story? You go right for the comic book references right from the start.
Which is about the extent of my comic book knowledge, by the way. So, but go ahead.
I mean, it's not very exciting, but it's basically, as a child, I discovered the Stooges very early on and started to mimic them basically in kindergarten, which led to a handful of unfortunate events in school. But but that said, my lifelong love of the Stooges began very early, and back then you couldn't find a streaming service for the Stooges or even a DVD or a VHS. You had to wait until they were airing on TV live.
Right.
And I know that it would air in the mornings right before school, and we would. I'd make sure that I was up in time to watch before I had to run out to the bus stop to catch the Three Stooges. They'd be showing various different shorts on one of the local broadcast stations. But yeah, I'm a lifelong Stooges fan. I've always loved them.
Do you have a favorite? Who's your favorite Stooge?
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
What was that?
Who's your favorite Stooge?
Oh, I knew you guys were going to ask that. That's like asking who's your favorite child.
Yes.
Honestly, I love them all so much. I can't pick, but I will say that I have always felt a kindred spirit with Mo for some reason.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
So
I still like that answer.
Yeah. You're the boss, right? You're the boss over there at American Mythology?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Sense.
That's how I run the business, basically.
Oh, we see how you're going to be. I don't know if we can work with this guy.
Did you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite iteration? Like where, the Curly version, the Curly Joe version, did any of those stand out to you?
I mean, you can't beat the Curly version. That's the pure Stooges.
There you go.
But I will say that as I got older, I really started to appreciate Shemp a lot. But I mean, in terms of just the best of their various programs, you have to go with Low Larry and Curly. They're just
it
perfect.
seems to happen a lot that Shemp becomes really much more appreciated as people get older. They start to find, kind of the subtle genius in him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, I agree too. I mean, even when I did know that I was related to the Stooges, Curly was my favorite, but Shemp was always my second favorite, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was like just drawn to both of them. And then when we talk about getting older and appreciating their craft, I seem to also want to throw out that the other Curlies, Joe Besser and Joe DeRita, really stand out as actors on their own when you become more matured instead of always just reacting to they're not Curly Howard. I think everybody, including the supporting actors and everyone involved, just brilliance.
You can't go wrong with any of them. They're all brilliant.
How did the comics come about? When did it first start for you with the Three Stooges?
Well, the comics came about in 2016, which basically was when I was starting up the company. And I had been reading the reprint comics that Paper Cuts were doing, and loving them because I didn't have all those issues, and I really wanted to do something new. I wanted to, because I loved the Stooges so much, and they were such a big part of my family life that I wanted to do something to honor them. And so was lucky enough to meet the C3 folks and to just have a great conversation about what we wanted to accomplish. And they saw what we saw, and the rest is history, as they say. I think we've published something like 26 or 27 issues at this point.
Wow.
That's awesome.
We saw you you were at the Stooge convention in 2016 in Philadelphia, correct?
I was.
Yeah. So was that the beginning? I guess it was 2016. You must have just started.
That was the very first issue had just shipped the week before the convention.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, memory.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
But we didn't meet each other.
Right? I did meet you very, very briefly.
How dare you not remember, Brad?
Here's the thing: we bought some. I don't know if you remember, but we did. And we bought one of the cool things about the Three Stooges or about comic books like today are these. I don't know if you could see me, but like these blank covers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we bought a bunch of, because I was super excited that Three Stooges had come out. Number one had just come out. We were at the convention, and it was like, oh, we got these blank covers, and so I bought a couple issues, and then for years and years I've been wanting to do something, and finally for this podcast I thought I would do something really fun, because I took one of these and I drew a cover with Curly G meeting the Three Stooges on your comic book number one.
That's great.
I love it.
We need to get some pictures of that so we can throw that up on social when this time comes.
We got to get Curly G to guest star in one of your Three Stooges
Didn't
comics.
you want to?
That'd be amazing.
James tell his whole story before we started plugging things. Like,
I'm not plugging anything.
I know. I'm just saying.
This is just literally since I met you back in 2016. I was like super excited to use your comics and draw.
That's really cool. Which, James, by the way, the artwork and the paintings that you see behind the two knuckleheads over there, Andy drew all those. Andy put all those together, so he's a very talented.
That's impressive. Yes, I had heard he was quite the artist. I see some of the work there. It looks great.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So James, going, you mentioned kind of some of the previous comics. Obviously, the Stooges have a rich history in terms of comic books. I think, Brad, you mentioned Norman Maurer, which was Moe's son-in-law, correct? He was married to Joan, if I remember, and he really did a lot to merchandise and keep the Stooges alive. But I believe it's going back all the way to the 40s that there were Stooge comics. So just like when we say it started in 2016, that was your iteration of comics, but you're building on this long, rich legacy of Stooge comics. So how much did you kind of look at that, and did you want to differentiate from what had been done before? Like, what was the approach?
Well, yeah, there certainly was the intention to grow and build upon what had been done before. really, there just hadn't been new Stooge comics in forever. You know, I had mentioned the stuff I was reading from paper cuts. That was all reprint material. I think there hadn't been new Three Stooges material since the early 70s, I think, which when the last comics came out, the last of the Gold Keys came out. So really, I just wanted to have a chance to tell some more. I thought that fans would enjoy seeing new Stooge stories, and we put them in all kinds of crazy situations. We put them in the modern day. We put them in the past. We put them pretty much anywhere you can imagine, and just had them do their magic on the page. It really is quite fun if you're a Stooge fan to check out some of that stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of the old comics, the first one is impossible to find. I think Andy was saying he couldn't afford to buy one, which is absolutely true. I think the cheapest copy is like $1,600, which is why we actually produced a reproduction of it for $4.
I think we have it here.
I paid two, but I bought two. It cost me $4.
There you go.
I think this is it, right? Here we go.
That's it. Yeah. We had a great fan named Rich Gallo who scanned his copy.
I know Rich, great friend.
Yeah.
Fantastic guy. Scanned his copy to help us get it published, and there you go. Now everyone can get it. Everyone can read it instead of only the select.
You also have a digital copy, right? Not just a physical copy, but there's a digital copy you could get.
Yeah, there's a digital. You can buy it on Kindle or on our website.
That is very cool.
It's the beauty of these things too. When you start reading them, they flow right along. So it's like you could someone could just read a couple of lines on something when you're reading something, but it just tells the story and they're engaging. So I really enjoy them.
Yeah,
I really do.
I do too, because I've read a bunch of the comics going into the past and a bunch that we have from your company, from American Mythology, and just it makes me laugh. They still make me laugh. They're still like the Stooges. They feel like the Stooges. What's it like to write for the Stooges? But so much is Stooges is obviously slapstick, and the comedy comes from that. And you guys actually managed to pull it off in there. What's the approach when you're like, okay, we're going to take Three Stooges and turn, make a 5 or 6 page short and honor them? How do you approach that? Because you guys have done a really good job.
Well, thank you. I will tell you this: I've written for all kinds of different properties, and many are very beloved by people. Phil mentioned a couple like $6 Million Man and Battlestar Galactica and Stargate. Those were all challenging, but writing for the Stooges is terrifying because it has to be perfect. And, I don't want to let anyone down. I want them to really feel that it's authentic to the boys' brand. So honestly, it's terrifying. You sit down in front of the blank page, and want to, have to honor it. It has to be perfect. To prep for that, to be completely frank, I sit down and watch the box set from start to finish before I try to write anything. So all those hours of Stooge goodness, I try to get back into my head before I try to voice the boys.
And then what I also find interesting is you've taken this obscure cartoon from, I think, the 70s, this Robonic Stooges, right?
Yeah.
And turned this also into a comic, which I absolutely love because it was so hard to see as a kid, and anytime it came on, I was so super excited. And those cartoons are so hard to find, but the fact that there's now, Robonic Stooges comics based on not only the Stooges, but those cartoons. How did that come about? The idea to take, we're not just going to do Three Stooges, but we're going to do this iteration to make their own comics.
Well, I actually was a child of the 80s, so I watched it live, and I remembered it. So I reached out to C3 about it, and we did a little bit of digging and found out that it was something we could do. And I was really excited because I've always loved that cereal and milk cartoon Saturday morning feeling that really has gone by the wayside. It doesn't exist anymore. But when we were kids, you would rush to the cartoons on TV and, have your bowl of cereal and just enjoy all the craziness and all the slapstick joy that was those cartoons. And being able to bring something back like the Robonic Stooges was really just a fantasy. It was a dream for me to be able to do that. So I'm glad that you liked it. I'm glad you remembered it. It's been a re-education process trying to get people to discover this long lost cartoon. But once you do find it, it really is a blast.
Is that, and absolutely, when you talk about, being a child and looking at the cereal boxes and seeing the ads and stuff like that, I've noticed on the back of these covers, like this Stooge monkey.
Yeah. Stooge monkey.
I mean, just amazing. I mean, as a child, remembering sea monkeys,
right,
and then seeing this, or as a kid seeing the little army men and all the ads that were of the day, the baby boomer age. This just brings you so close to what was and what is still today, because you guys are producing this content, and it's simply amazing. I just want to thank you again, because we love this stuff, and so do the fans.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad that you like that. We also did a 3 Roman Stooges ad for the old Roman soldiers. Remember that?
Wait, what was that?
It's on the back of one of our new comics.
I'll have to look. I haven't seen that. I got to check that out.
3 Roman Stooges. That's funny.
Hey, wait, we are taping, so this isn't live. Is that a Viagra ad there? I'm just saying, Roman, we're cutting that.
Nice.
Yeah, that was funny. Because Roman is, well, we know.
Yeah.
So
I know anyway.
You've also,
so does my wife.
You've incorporated all the Stooges in the comics, right? We've seen Larry, Curly, Shem. I swear, right? Did I see Curly Joe and Joe Besser in here? I swear I read that.
Yeah, Curly Joe and them were in the reprint comics. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, you didn't have a new one. Wasn't there Stooge Wars or something? Am I making that up? Did I miss that?
Yeah, Stooge Wars was Robonic Stooges, and it had, we did add Shemp to the Robonic Stooges. It was originally Mo, Larry, and Curly.
Right, okay.
So I got to ask about, because I said that we would, the Spike TV Scream Award. So we'll jump away from comics just for a second. What is I remember Spike TV. I definitely remember Spike TV, home of the UFC and the Ultimate Fighter, and they were kind of the man's man, masculinity network, and I think they had WWE for a while, all that stuff. What is the Scream Award? I mean, you wrote for Freddy versus Jason and Hatchet and Army of Darkness, so obviously you have an interest in horror and a talent for that, which our very own Andy and Brad have both been involved in horror films in the past in some way, shape, or form. What was the story behind the Spike TV Scream Award?
Well, I mean, it was I won it for the Army of Darkness comic book series that we were doing. I wrote something like 22 issues of Army of Darkness from Dynamite. And my initial series was drawn by a fellow who just was freaking fantastic. And we were lucky enough to get enough votes from the fans that it won for best horror comic of the year.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
I think I've seen some of that stuff. It's really, really terrific.
Well, it's
really
also that's also another Stooge connection, right? Because Sam Raimi, who did Army of Darkness, is a huge Three Stooges fan, and there's clearly references, right?
Yeah,
very much so. Yeah,
yeah. He coined the term fake Shemp, for an actor replacing another Shemp for Joe Palma, right? When Shemp wasn't around, and even Bruce Campbell, who plays Ash. Mm-hmm. I think his name on Instagram is Shemp Malone, right? Who's clearly also another Stooge fan. So did any of that come to mind when you were working on those comics? Was there any kind of Stooges comedy in the back of your head?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind in terms of some of my favorite horror movies that the Raimi's Evil Dead and Army of Darkness absolutely encapsulates the best of horror and humor right next to each other. And the Stooge influence is all over those movies and all over the comics we did.
Yeah, that must be fun. You also did something which I would have probably died for as a kid. And you gave us a crossover finally that I have always wanted, which is Laurel and Hardy meet the Three Stooges. Right? It's about time that Laurel and Hardy met the Three. They were in one movie together, Hollywood Party, but
who thought of that? I mean, was it you?
Yeah, it was us. We presented it to both the Larry Harmon folks and to C3, and they were both gracious enough to agree to allow us to do it. But that was a lot of fun, getting to bring the two very classic comedy acts together in the one comic book.
Is there more than one issue? Because I only have the one.
It's just one.
And just kind of what's a synopsis of the storyline? What was the deal there?
Well, it's the boys and Laurel and Hardy both have their own jobs, so to speak, and their worlds kind of collide when the two come together over some over a moving situation. It draws from both of their classic comedy routines. But really, if you check it out, I think it is one of the best single issue books that we've done. It just, I think it does, it pays homage to both of them in a way that I think is very loving and very sincere. So
it does him justice. And Andy, as much as a Three Stooge fan that you are, Laurel and Hardy is like,
my heart is Laurel. Yeah,
exactly. So when we saw this and I saw him see it, he lit up like a little child that had gotten like, I thought I got a motorcycle. I look like that. He got this and he looked just like that. And this really, it means a lot to not only you, and it means a lot to the era of comedy.
Oh, for sure.
And like Chris Dermick, who plays our Mo, which is an incredible guy and so talented. He loves Laurel and Hardy, but he's also a Marx Brother fanatic. So is there any way that we can get the Marx Brothers involved?
We'll have to look into that.
Okay.
And Abbott and Costello. I mean, like,
too.
I feel like
come on, James, step it up.
Abbott and Costello are so close with the Three Stooges, right? Especially with some of the Shem crossover.
Yeah, and Joe Besser.
I know there's all kinds of right stuff, but just seeing it. I remember looking at reading one of these Three Stooges comics, and on the back there's Laurel and Hardy. You guys have your own Laurel and Hardy comics, either coming out. I don't have the issue, but I was like, first of all, the artwork and the cover that is on it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, we had a few. It was a fun run with Laurel and Hardy. Those guys are great.
Can I just make a call out to the artist on all of the material that you guys produce is top notch. So to all of the artists that you have and that you work with over the years, whether it's Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy, anything that I've seen and the other material that you've touched on, it's top notch. And I just want to say thank you. That's what makes it great.
Oh, thank you. I agree.
What's interesting, like, so this one, for example, like I look in it and there's obviously different artists, right? Drawing from one kind of storyline to the other.
Yeah.
And so first of all, I just love that idea and I love that aesthetic. What's the thought behind that?
Well, the issue that you're looking at has 3 short stories in it. Not every issue has the same configuration, but we try to get guys who just love the Stooges. I mean, that's kind of it's a prerequisite, is that any artist who's going to work with us has to have a real love and joy for the Three Stooges, because I feel like it comes through on the page. If they love the Stooges, the illustrations they put together aren't just a paycheck or a job. They are really sharing their love with everybody about what the boys mean to them.
So how do you vet that? What's your favorite Stooge? What's your favorite episode? Hit that.
We never slap them around. That's how I got the job. I got slapped Philly. Do you ever slap the artist and say, "Well"?
I don't slap.
If Mo's your favorite, you should.
Yeah.
No, I don't slap. I only eye poke.
Draw the line.
Excuse me, James.
So what's the future plans for the Stooges and comics? We're still going?
Yeah, we're still going. We just put out a couple of new issues. I would love to work with you guys to try to get you into the stories. Like I said, we're already working with some fans who've been just fantastic. We would love to work with you. I know, Andy, you're such a great talent as a painter there. Maybe we can get you to paint a cover or something.
Oh, I would love that. I would not only love to paint a cover, I think it'd be fun maybe if we could work it out where Brad and I write an episode together and maybe draw and like document the whole process for the fans. I think they would absolutely love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I should warn you that we pay in wooden nickels.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
We've been paid wooden nickels our whole life. We've been paid wooden pennies.
We usually get paid in slaps.
I would be. So wouldn't it be amazing if I could actually, as Curly G, meet my grandfather and
that would be amazing.
That would be. I mean, like Andy's cover that we showed you. I mean that really just kind of melts me inside. Just being feel like I'm with them.
It'd be fun to have a Curly G, meets, the Three Stooges. And I showed that to Kurt. He's the only one who had seen that before.
Right.
Kurt and Chandler, I showed it. Kurt's like, I want one. And I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta.
Well, that one's mine.
Well, yeah.
Well, or it's James.
He doesn't want you in it.
No, I'm on the cover. That's fine.
But yeah, no, it'd be a lot of fun. And
or the new Three Stooges. I mean, the stuff that we're doing as well, that would be like awesome. Even if it was on a side little job that your artist, for wood nickels or pennies, would actually write a comic about you as Curly, me as Larry, and Chris as Mo.
Right.
And just even if it was 2 pages, it'd be awesome to like carry that legacy on and like give that. I'd love to give that to my daughter so she'd have something like that forever. It's like
we can make that happen.
Yeah,
we can definitely make that happen.
That's so cool.
So now one of the issues I have with the Stooges and I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't bring this up, but like I've had a hard time finding these in the comic book stores. I've driven all around LA trying to get a hold of these. So how can fans find the Three Stooges comics here?
Well, I always say, please check your local retailer first. If you can't find it there, we do sell everything that's still in print on our website. It's AmericanMythology.net. And yeah, we've got a list of everything that's been produced. You can shop through, find out what you want, and we're happy to send it to you. And we always give our direct consumers a little something extra too. So we throw in some extra comics and extra goodies and make sure everybody's real happy at the end of the day.
That's good. So we'll make sure they do that. And should they, when they go into their local comics and ask for them, and just be like, hey, make sure you guys order. Because I always ask. I'm like, hey, there's Three Stooges comics. How come you guys don't have them? I'm always pushing.
That's great. Yes. Any fan that tells their local comic shop to carry the Stooges, that is a wonderful. We thank you very much. Thank you.
That could be one of our lives where you just go to comics.
Oh, that's a great idea. Right? We should go. Yeah, we should go out looking for it.
And then we go to the Stooges. If they don't have them, we just beat up the owner. Well, you better get it. Mo's coming back and he's going to be extra mad.
Yeah. And if you have any comic, local retailers that are selling them, let us know. We'll post it on our Facebook. And of course, we're going to post this on, we do promote this. We love
we do.
And stuff out
James
there.
was kind enough to send me some copies, right?
That I took from you.
Right. That he did take from me. So now he's got all 38 editions or whatever it is. But I have to mention 2 things. I started when I think I do now remember. You know what it was when I met Will Sasso was very uncomfortable at the show that year, and we can talk about that later.
It was just weird.
It's only because Batman wouldn't talk to me, so it got a little strange. But anyways, sometimes I get the opportunity if I'm lucky enough or people want to reach out to me on cameos or I do videos. I always start my video with a Three Stooges comic book this. Yeah, and it's like this. Usually I can be sleeping like this, or I wake up and I'm like, oh, hi there. I didn't know you were there. Oh, hi, James. Oh, I heard it's your birthday today. Well, let's sing you happy birthday. Always with a Three Stooges comic book. And I've been doing it for years, right?
Yeah.
And that's what
I can vouch for that.
Yeah. And it's like, it's simply amazing because I think the fans, hopefully that they get it. They're like, I didn't know there was Three Stooges comics.
Right.
But
it's like Shemp reading the funny papers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that whole Shemp thing, wow. We could talk about that another time. But there was one episode or one edition that I actually was able to reach out to you, and we were engaging, we were texting, we were sending emails. Was this one edition? And you may know, I don't know where you find the edition number because I can't read or talk sometimes. But this one, you actually did interviews with Kurt and I remember you reached out to us and we did some family interviews in this one. So I wanted to thank you again, but
he's in it
right there.
Is it still in print?
It is still in print.
Oh. And where are the editions? Like if you're trying to look for an edition or something, is there something?
Is it issue number?
Issue number 1 of this series?
Yeah, I mean, it goes by the title of the book, which should be on the front cover.
Right.
Through the Ages. Three Stooges Through the Ages, so number 1.
Okay, so there's another Through the Ages.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it now.
Well, I don't know.
Well, could you maybe slap some sense into me?
Oh, wait, hold on. That wasn't good.
Oh!
Yeah. It was literally these comics were literally the only thing I bought when I went to the Stooge convention in 2016 with you. Right. I was so excited to see it. I was so excited that there's just like new Stooge stuff. I've wanted this my whole life. I had a couple. There was like 2 that came out in the 80s. I think they were reprints from the 3D comics where
they were 3D reprints from each.
And if I'm remembering right, I think they took the old Norman Maurer ones and put Curly's head on Shemp's body and then reprinted it that way. I think that's what they did. Right. But just to see these in 2016, I was so super excited that that there's new such. And I see that you guys also you do reprint the old stuff.
We do,
which is great. I mean, it's like these old Curly. These are so funny.
When we see the cartoons that are out, and you see these Stooges doing the promo before the cartoons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's so amazing, and this is so true to that. It stays so true to that, and that's what it makes me think of, and I think it's great.
Well, and it allows like Stooge fans who can't afford the old comics or can't find the old comics, to be able to revisit some of the ones or finally get to read some of the ones that they never got a chance to read.
So James, we're gonna wrap things up here, but I did want to ask you: do you have anything in the pipeline in terms of I don't know if you can talk about it or not, but are there any future Stooge comics that are in the pipeline that you want to give us a sneak preview on? Sure.
There's one big one that actually people, when they're watching this, will be able to read about. So it's a Three Stooges story written by Adam F. Goldberg, who you may know from the Goldbergs and the big Garbage Pail Kids fan that he is. Him and a fellow named Hans Rodenoff put together a crazy Three Stooges story where the boys meet H.P. Lovecraft and face off against the Elder Gods. So it's rather unique story.
Ambitious, it sounds like.
It's different, but no, it's very funny. Adam's got a great sense of humor. He's written all kinds of great television, humor television.
How did that come to be?
Honestly, I was just a big fan of his work, and he's very active on social media. So I reached out to see if he had any interest, and luckily, he and Hans both love the Stooges and pitched me an idea right away, and everybody seemed to like it. So we got it together.
That's awesome.
I like it too.
Yeah, that's fun.
All right. Well, James, you mentioned that your comics are available at AmericanMythology.net. You can also check your local retailer. Also got to mention our good friend Kurt Lamond runs the Stooges merch shop at shopknuckleheads.com. Some of your comics are available there as well. Is that right?
That's right. Kurt's fantastic. Everyone over at the Shop Knuckleheads family, good people.
Yeah. And what happens with all the original Three Stooges comic book artwork there? What do you guys do with it all?
The original artwork on our comics, the artists keep it.
They do?
Yeah.
Can we have their address and their phone numbers and maybe their email addresses?
Sure.
How many wood nickels would it take to get?
I got 6 wood nickels, but I'll give 5 cents instead.
We love it. Thank you for keeping the Stooges alive.
Yes, absolutely.
It really and truly is my honor. So thank you for spreading the word and for getting it out to the fans so people can enjoy the comics.
Yeah. And listeners and viewers can save 10% at shopknuckleheads.com by using the code LOYAL10, and that includes James Comics as well. So that would you can use that as well. But to add on,
can I use that too?
You can. And to add on to what Andy said, what we're doing with this podcast, what Andy and Brad do with Stooge Talk Live, and all the different things that they're doing, and some of the things that are going to be coming down the pipeline. There are people like you, James, like us, there are others that we are all about continuing to build on the legacy of the Stooges because we love the Stooges. And so it's kind of like this little fraternity or sorority or brotherhood or whatever you want to call it. But we all take it very seriously, especially those two. We take it very, very seriously. And just added my thanks into what you're doing too, James. This is really hard to do with these two knuckleheads being all the people on the podcast don't see it, but to check out the video because this is just wacky. But anyways, James, in spite of everything that's going on in the background, adding my thanks to what you're doing as well. And I just as a fan, not as a Brad's close personal friend or anything like that, but as a fan, I would love to see Curly G meets the Stooges, in a comic book. I would love to see something around the new Stooges. That would be great. But that's the great thing about, even though I'm not a huge comic book fan, that's the great thing about comic books is they can meet H.P. Lovecraft. They can meet Laurel and Hardy. They can do stuff with Shemp and Curly in the same, thing, stuff that we never got to see in that could have happened in real life, but we never got to see. And even beyond that, it's just, there are so many different avenues you can go with this. And it's really cool to see you guys exploring, at least some of those. And I'm glad that I actually got to talk a little bit at the end here as well.
You've been talking quite a bit, Phil.
Oh, yeah.
At this point, I'd like to segue to me just saying, James, thank you so much. I mean, for what you've done to keep the legacy alive and to give the fans some of the best Three Stooges comic book material that there is. It's simply the best. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Thank you. Can't beat that.
Get it. Enough.
All right. I gotta ask you, James, I know you mentioned AmericanMythology.net. Are you on social? Is there anything that you want to plug in terms of if fans want to get in touch with you? If people want to beg for jobs or anything like that, is there a way to reach you as well?
Yeah, you can find us pretty much everywhere. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, all at American Mytho. Just take a look, you'll find us. Or search Three Stooges. You'll find us popping up on the Three Stooges threads.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. We'll keep pushing you. We love it.
Yeah, definitely.
And we do.
After hours questions.
And speaking of,
we got to work on collaboration.
Speaking of social media,
all
right. Speaking of social media, you can follow us, follow Curly G and Andy on YouTube and on Instagram at Curly's Grandson. And you can join our Facebook group, which is Curly's Grandson's Corner. Lots going on there. The boys are also doing Stooge Talk Live pretty much every Thursday. Always a great time that if you want to join in on the talk on YouTube, you can find Curly's Grandson on YouTube as well. And there's some really cool stuff going on with that. But until next time, James, again, thank you for taking the time to join us and cluing us in on everything that's going on in the world of the Stooges comics that is obviously alive and well. We appreciate it. Brad, Andy.
Yeah.
Love and appreciate you guys too.
Yes. No.
Well, with that, until next time, fans, thank you for tuning in. Till next time, stay safe and stay healthy. We will see you soon.
And keep stooging.
Keep the laughter alive.